All right, we're now heading into the vinyl unit. This and the textile printing unit are pretty much all application. You're using software that you know how to use and nothing new is in it. It's just a matter of applying it to something different now. So we'll start out with our vinyl project number 1, which is a very simple exercise in shapes and text. We're going to actually create it twice. We'll do vinyl 1 in Inkscape, and vinyl 2 we'll go through Google Drive. We'll do a Google Drawing to make that happen. First things first, we want to open up Inkscape, and you want to go into a brand new document. The new document, we're actually going to go up to File, Document Properties. We're going to set it up to be a letter size landscape document, all in inches. Make things a lot easier if you do it that way. Okay. So there's our document. Next thing we're going to do on this is draw a square. Pretty much a simple square, no real fill. And now you can choose rounded corners on this one or not. Size is important though. So our size right up here, we'll change it to inches. We want it to be a 6-inch square. Now if you want it rounded, you can keep it like that. I would say you can choose, we're going to do 2 squares. I would say one of them be rounded, one of them not be rounded. For this setup, I'm going to make the outside the hard edge and make the inside rounded. So we have that. I'm going to go up to fill and stroke. I'm going to make sure this is exactly how I want it. I'm going to give this actually a black fill. And it does need a stroke. Next, I'll go ahead and make a second square. This square is going to be a white fill. It's going to be 5 inches square. And I am going to round the edges. Good setting for it is about 1/2 inch. I did this a little bit earlier, and 1/2 inch worked out well for the radius. We'll go ahead and place that on top. You don't have to necessarily try to get exactly centered, and here's why. We'll hold down our mouse and select both of those. Then we'll go to Object, Align and Distribute. We're going to align relative to page, the center for both of these. There, they're centered. Similar thing we're going to do with our text. What you want to do is go ahead and select the text tool, draw a little text box, and type your name. Select it all and then go back and find a font that you like. We've got a lot of fonts here, so you can choose whichever one you want to go with. What would I want to do? And you can choose a size that works. For mine, 96 works. You choose a different font, it might be a different size. So don't take that as an absolute. Right now, if you were to go to the node editor tool, you'll see you can't get in there. This right now, the cutter would not be able to read. You can make it so the cutter can read it, but then you can't edit the text. So to do that, we'll go to Object, or Path, Object to Path. Now if we mouse over the node editor, look what we can do. The cutter can now read this. You go ahead and try to place it in there. You see mine's a little bit off scale-wise. I'm going to shrink it a little bit, but I'm also going to rotate it. Click once, we get the rotation tool, and go across there. Okay, so I almost got the size how I want it there. Okay, there's our first one done. You need to go to File, Save As, and you want to save this in a different file type. You're going to save it as Vinyl 1. I'll add a little note on mine so I can tell it apart. Click the drop down under File Type. You want to change it to an Enhanced PostScript file. Save. Okay. The Enhanced PostScript the cutter can read very easily. That's why we choose that one. SVGs, most times the cutter can read it, but if it's a native file to Inkscape, it doesn't work that way. As far as reading SVGs go, that's why we're going to go over to Google Drive. Google Drive, we'll go to New. We're going to choose a Google Drawing. Make sure the rulers are visible. And then we can go to our shapes. We're going to make roughly a similar shape on here. Roughly a 6-inch square. I'll change that to a black fill. Then I'll go back to the shapes. I'm going to choose this time a rounded rectangle. Give that a white fill. And then scale it so it fits nicely inside there. Google Drawings is a good way to make text or shapes if you have to make something project. You have to make a project in a hurry and don't want to worry about Inkscape, or you only have your Chromebook and can't worry about Inkscape. Google Drawings will do it for you pretty well. We'll go to text. Same deal. We'll again type our name. We'll find a nicer font on here. Now this one you don't have to worry about taking it to a path because when you save it as an SVG, it will automatically do so. Did make it too big? No, I did not. Good. Perfect. And you see here you have guidelines. I'll put it in the center for you. That's exactly what we want. Now, we're going to name it to Vinyl 1A. Sample. And to send this file to the cutter, you then want to go to File and choose Download, and you want to download it as a scalable vector graphic, or SVG. As you might notice, that is the same file type that's native to Inkscape. For some reason, the cut out of Inkscape and EPS just works better. Here, the SVG will work just fine. Both of those will get uploaded into Classroom, and then we go ahead and work from there. I'll show you how to use the cutter. By the time you're doing Vinyl Project 3, you pretty much should be using the cutter on your own. I should not be running it for you. But that's how the Vinyl unit starts, and I'll talk to you soon.